In this video, we take a look at the National Museums collection of Liverpool and items that are hidden away from public view as the collection is quite large and not everything can be displayed all in one go in the museums. Items such as this tunnel scrubbing vehicle from the Mersey Tunnel, one of two held in the collection. There are also a couple of railway related items such as these locomotives, one of which is a Mersey Docks and Harbour Company No. 1, built by Avonside of Bristol in 1904. There are also some more unique and even older items in the collection, such as this, what is known as a dumb wagon. If you notice very carefully, those springs inside the wheels, that is the shock absorbers. Long before springs were attached to the axles, the wheels themselves had small shock absorbers riveted inside the axles. And the axle itself is actually lead sweated on. The whole vehicle is upside down to protect the weight of the chassis. But that's not what this video is about. This video looks at signalling, and in particular, some of the items that are inside the museum's collection. So, without further ado, let's move over and let Sharon explain the history of some of these items.
So, Riverside Station opened in 1895. There's a lot of transatlantic liners coming into Liverpool. Liverpool was a huge port. Lot of traffic coming and going, and it was very inconvenient for people that landed at Liverpool and wanted to go on down to London, had to sort of take various forms of transport to get to a mainline station. So the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board opened Riverside Station in 1895 to cut out the faff, basically. So you went via two tunnels, Victoria and Waterloo Tunnel, via Waterloo Goods Station up into town to connect to your train onwards to London or wherever else you were going. So this signal box is one of the very few relics from the station. We do have a running in board, another lower quadrant signal somewhere in this store.
Would that be interesting?
But this is all that remains. We do have some great oral testimony as well from people that worked at the station, which is really interesting. We know that the station was very heavily used, not just from the transatlantic liners, but during the two world wars as well. It's about during the First World War, after America joined the war, there's about 800,000 American troops and service people came through Liverpool, through Riverside Station, and then again in the Second World War, they estimate that about 1.7 million troops came through Liverpool via Riverside Station. So it did great service, not just for the everyday people having a great time, but in times of adversity as well. It was a really useful tool. It eventually closed in 1971. I think the last train was carrying troops going over to Belfast in February 1971, and basically transatlantic travel had decreased because people going on holidays by air, and I guess travel requirements were completely different, so it went out of use. Probably 1950s, 1960s, the traffic was starting to decline, and they made the decision to close the station. It was used for a while as a ticket office for travel over to the Isle of Man, and wasn't demolished until the 1990s. But as I say, this is all that we've got really that remains. But it's a really interesting history.
So it ended up at Steamport Southport, the museum.
It came to us directly as the station closed down.
Yeah.
We got it in 1972, and then it did go off to loan for Steamport.
Steamport was around for how many years? A decade or so?
Yeah, about 10 years.
And then I think they ended up with the Liverpool Railway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've moved.
So it came back to you to store.
Came back to us, and yes, we're always looking at projects to restore things. So it's looking a bit sorry for itself really, but the basics are there, and the lever frame is
just behind. We'll have a look at that in a minute.
shown separately.
It's a fairly big building just for a signal box as well, ironically. It's kind of double the size of a small cabin.
It is quite big actually.
Always ground mounted, as far as we know.
As far as we know, yes.
Next to the signal box is this lever frame, made by the Railway Signalling Company, which is also purported to have been in use at the Steamport Museum Centre itself. It's still mounted upon its two wooden mounts that hold up the signal box. It shows that there were several sets of points, one facing point lock, and several signals. And this is another item that one day there are plans to have on display. Now another little gem is this miniature lever frame. Now it's purported that this was used as a demonstrator model, together with the dingle diagram that is now on display in the main Liverpool Museum. There are a couple of interesting features on this. Firstly, there are electrical contacts on the front. However, for the point levers they only ever make when the points are reversed. The rear of the frame does actually have tail connections to pull signal wires, but again, these are far too small to have been real signal wires. They can only ever have been models. There's also an interesting feature in that the two levers that are shown possibly as detonator places with the up and down arrows have backlocking upon them. And once the signals are pulled and the detonator placer, you then can't get the detonator lever back until the levers for the signals are replaced. So, are they detonator levers? Or are they some other functions signifying an up line and a down line?
From dingle boxes.
God, they were tiny. So, signalling contacts on the back.
Yeah.
So, let me get it right. You can't pull the distant first on. Yeah, so it makes the contacts. Terminals on the bottom. That's been wired up on that, hasn't it?
Yeah, Mr. Box used to use it as a demonstration piece at Steamport. Because we have the signal diagram, the track diagram that goes with it.
I should be able to, but yes, I can pull that out. Tap it locking. Put that back. Try and put that back. Right, put that back. So that's mechanical point 16, lock it with 17, ground signal 18, the shunt